Hi, this is Allie, and it's time for another Big Fat Question. This is a series where you guys send me questions and I answer your questions. You can send them on Tumblr, you can send them on Twitter, you can leave them a comment. I'll add them to the big Ask Me Anything list, and I'll answer them here. So today's question is from a teacher. So the question is, hi, I'm fat and a preschool teacher who works with ages 2 through 5. Sometimes the kids will point out that I'm fat, and I don't know how to respond in a way that will help them understand that it's okay to be fat and that people have different body shapes and sizes. Do you have any recommendations for how to approach this subject in a way that's easy for little kids to digest? Thanks. Okay, starting the answer now. It sounds like you have a pretty good response already. That people come in different sizes, right? So if I'm ever in a position, I have, nieces and a nephew, and, we're all around little kids sometimes, and sometimes little kids are like, oh, you're fat. And, if a kid ever says that to me, because, kids are, like, when they're in the age where they're, like, noticing, like, the differences, that this person's this and this person's this. And then it's really like dependent in how we respond to that, like how they're going to understand, those differences between people. And you're a teacher, so you would definitely know more about that than I would. But so when kids say like point me out and they say, "Oh, she's fat," I just say, "Yeah, I am." People come in different sizes, and some people are tall, and some people are short, and isn't that great? Because we're all different. And that generally tends to satisfy them. They don't need much more than that. Even that might be too long, especially for a 2-year-old. To just be like, "Yep, people are different." And keep it upbeat and like, yeah, that's a thing. In the way that you don't want like an older kid pointing at people and being like, "That person's tall," because you don't want people, pointing is, at least in this culture, considered pretty rude, and pointing out like obvious physical differences is not something that we generally tend to do. But they're little kids, they don't know, and they're just learning. So I think really the problem comes when you have parents who freak out when their kids are like, that's a fat lady, because then they sort of enforce the idea that this is like shameful, and that don't you ever say that. And the parents, I think that they think that they're doing a good thing by teaching their kids not to be rude to people. And it's not, they're not wrong, right? Because a lot of people would be really upset if a little kid was like, "You're fat." I've talked to people that's happened to, and they get really upset, and I get it. But the thing is that being fat is one of those like identity differences that it is not possible to hide. It is right out there. And so like, I understand why it upsets people, but on the other hand, it's like, what counts as thin seems like socially it gets smaller and smaller every year, and that's not great. But on the other hand, it's just kind of like, well, for me, trying to pretend, before I found fat activism, when I was like, well, just like nobody will say that you're fat. Like, we all know that you are, right? Like, we know. Everyone knows. But, I mean, because how could you not? But, like, we're all going to pretend politely that we didn't notice this thing that we all think is horrible, is like, that didn't really feel that great to me. So getting to a place where I can just be like, "Yep, it's not a big deal. No problem," has been really good for me. I would probably think as a teacher, I mean, as a parent, you're in a better position to kind of do an explicit, like, it's okay to be fat kind of message. I think as a teacher, you might find that you're going to get some parental pushback on that. So I would probably just suggest saying, like, people come in different sizes, direct them towards, like, people are tall, people are small, and, and see if that like takes care of it, and you might find that it does. And as long as you seem like chill about it and like it doesn't bother you, then like they're just gonna want a snack or have a nap or whatever they want to do. They're gonna be like, okay, and that's I mean my experience with responding with like yep is in then trying to give people are different little talk is that honestly, especially the younger the kid is, like they don't care. When you're a little kid, like everything seems normal to you because everything's new and you have no context for anything. So if you seem like chill and okay, they're gonna be chill and okay and probably not make a big deal out of it. You can't really do anything about whether or not their parents make a big deal out of it, but if you model not making a big deal out of it, that's something you can do. And then, of course, like, don't let them bully each other, oversize if you can stop them. I know that's hard. You don't want them to bully each other at all. But, like, just if you have, like, a kid who's getting some real fat hating messages at home, who's like, fat, other kid is fat, you're going to want to put a like everyone is different kind of stop to that if you can. But it's a good question, and that's all I've got for that. So I hope you guys liked it. Leave me a question and I'll be happy to answer it. All right, see you later. Bye.